What's up, y'all? It's Customized Key, and I'm back with part 2 of our college series videos that we are going to be doing. If you haven't started the college series at video 1, you should go look at that. It'll tell you why I'm doing it. But also too, I gotta rep my shit. You know what I'm saying? You feel me, with the name on it. This is what everybody used to call me in college. Everybody called me Kiwi. Nobody knew my real name. Nobody knew where I lived at. I mean, he knew.
I knew your real name.
Okay, that's because you met me like when I was still ugly and wearing a swoop ponytail. Okay, so this is my friend Veotis. I don't know if y'all probably don't know him, but some of my close friends who know me, y'all know that this is my road dog. So just a little history on me and Veotis' friendship. We met at college. He was one of my first friends at Michigan State because I was in this program called Magic. It was awesome. I got to meet a lot of people, so it was pretty straight. And then our friendship just kind of went from there. You want to tell me anything else?
Yeah, so we met in 2009. Magic, shout out.
How old we is?
Oh, no, right?
Shut up.
I'm 26. I'm not even going to sit here and lie to y'all. Like, I'm
26.
old, bro.
Right.
But, yeah, we met in 2009. So Magic is a program called Maximizing Academic Growth in College. So that goes through a week of workshops and seminars where you kind of go through different collegiate programs, different resources around campus, as well as networking and building friendships. So, I mean, our friendship started from there. You know, now we both in Chicago. She's from Chicago. I'm down here, working or whatever. So that can kind of show you, what magic or what resources on campus can do for you if, you stay the course and stick it out. So, yeah.
Yeah. So in this video, I'm pretty sure you guys have already figured out by now that we are going to talk about how to be social and successful while in college. A lot of people go to college and they're like, oh, it's time to turn up. It's time to party, have some fun. And yes, that is true. However, your academics should always be first. So we're going to get into it. We're going to give you guys 10 tips on what you can do to be successful and social at the same damn time.
It's possible.
All right, so tip number 1. I'm going to say that one of the things you can do to be successful and social in college is to stay busy. I noticed that when I was in school, when I had a lot of free time, I was just sitting around. I wasn't making much progress, but I noticed that when I had a heavy workload, a heavy class load, a lot of things to do, I was a lot more conscious of the ways in which I used my time. One of the examples that I want to highlight is that one time I had like 15 credits, which is equivalent to about maybe 3 or 4 classes, depending on how many credit hours each class is. So that's some 4 credit classes and some 3 credit classes, but 15 credits is kind of like average for the amount that college students take per semester. So I had quite a bit, and I know for some people with certain majors that 15 credits can be a lot, depending on what you take. So be very cautious about that. We will talk about scheduling classes in another video. And I did have that heavy workload, even in my in-between times. If I knew that I got to work like maybe 15 or 20 minutes early, I would just pull out my laptop, pull out my tablet, and maybe knock out a few assignments online, or even start a paper, or even start to brainstorm for that paper, so that I was utilizing my time, so that when I got home, when I was ready to relax and de-stress, that I had the luxury of doing that, because I wasn't like, oh, now I gotta start this paper. I don't have no time to myself. So tip number 1 is to definitely stay busy. If that means you're increasing your hours at work, join an organization, do some community service. If that means that you are meeting up with friends or going to office hours for a professor, please, please, please just stay busy, because it will force you to manage your time wisely.
So my first one would be to figure out what your dogma is. Your dogma is like your form of religion or whatever you adhere to, you want to do in terms of a college schedule. So to me, I mean, you want to be social, but you want to make sure that you're around the right people. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you have an overall arching goal to graduate from college, right? but that doesn't necessarily encompass, the people you hang around, whatever else. So a lot of times when you go to school, you got to ask yourself, okay, well, I want to graduate, right? Everybody want to graduate, but how can I get there? What vehicle am I going to use to get there? So what people am I hanging around per se? They like the same stuff I like to do. So like a lot of times, like me and my boys, AC, Ty, Jamil, whoever else. Yeah, these were the people that was in the business college with me trying to do the same thing I was doing. You know what I mean? Like, we like to go out. So
they was like upperclassmen, or they was like freshmen too?
They was the same class, just as far as like your everyday, because you hang around your upperclassmen serve more so like a mentor, and you hang out with them a little bit once. It's kind of weird. It's like a initiation process. Like your first semester, you got to kind of show that you belong there before they look at you like, oh, we can, study together, whatever else. That's cool if you can hit those levels, but for the people that you're going to identify with most, those are going to be the people in your class. So hanging out with those people, you want to make sure that those are the people that share the same goals. So when I say have the same type of dogma, everybody that you hang around got to have the same type of ideas that you have. So for example, like me and my roommates, my freshman year, we would go out Monday, we go out Friday through Sunday, but we would study Monday through Thursday. So it was like a job. So Monday to Friday from 8 to 5 or whenever we got up, we set our schedule up. And then once that moment hit, we would all go out, and party, whatever else. But we already had that, like those rules outlined. And your circle got to be on the same type of stuff. So I think that's the first rule that you can do to set yourself up for success with balancing your social life. So.
I gotta give you some credit. That's a little segue. So the third tip that we're gonna give you for being successful and for being social in college is to learn to compromise. So Uncle V talked about how his friends, they set up a schedule. And I feel like learning to compromise is a part of knowing when to tell your friends no. I'll give a really good example. So there on campus, there used to be this like talk show, kind of. Tim City, for y'all who was there, y'all know, y'all went. Tim City used to be live, okay? It was basically this guy, he used to have this like talk show with all these people who had these crazy opinions or who he just thought would offer a difference of perspective. It was like Mari, as far as the guests were concerned. But I knew that I wanted to go to it. I lived in the complex that the show was held in. However, I also knew that the same night that the Tim City event went on, I also had math homework that was due online every single week on the same day as Tim City. So what I did was I said, okay, look, I'm going to try to make sure that even if I do finish what I got to do for this week, that I can work ahead into next week so that when that Thursday comes, I'm like, all right, I got 2 hours to myself. Let me just knock out whatever is left or use that 2 hours to get ahead for the next week so that I don't have to worry. And I'm like, you know what? It's time to go to Tim City. I got to get my seat. Let me be in the front row. Okay. And I always had a good seat. So, getting a certain amount of work done, learning to compromise, coming up with a schedule to make your life easy on yourself. That is tip number 3.
Number 4 is to know yourself. Like if you don't know how to balance a social life or academic life, then that's the first thing you need to figure out before you participate in anything socially, academically. A lot of times we have a tendency to overload ourselves, and it's a marathon, not a race, you know what I mean? Because you can easily race out of college and not have a job. I've seen a lot of people do that, but you want to make sure that you set up your social life and your academic life where you're balanced. Like, again, it kind of boils down to, okay, we're not going to talk about classes per se, but I may not need to take 18 credits in a semester. But I also may not need to hang around such and such who like to go to parties every, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Or go to Rick's.
Yeah, go to Rick's and overstimulate myself and overstimulate my bills, then wake up, no money, late for class. So you got to kind of know yourself. Like if you know that you a 2-drink person, you get your little 2 drinks and you get back to studying and doing what you're doing. Like you can't go out here and try to be like the next person because you seen, I'm not gonna throw anybody under the bus, but like my roommates, man, my freshman year, I had 2 white roommates, right? So they would go in, and I hate to say it, but like they was already used to academically doing a lot of work, you know what I mean? So for me, it took me a longer time to study, so I would catch them at 12 or 1 a.m., not at 9 or 10 a.m., you know what I mean? It just depends on what I had going on that day. So once you know yourself and you know how to handle yourself academically and socially, you figure out how you fit and you have a lot more fun. And you'll be more comfortable with that too, because you're not jeopardizing or compromising on anything. You didn't compromise to go to this party, but you didn't compromise on your social life because you took 20 hours to study. You did just the right amount of time that you knew that would be good for you to fit within your social life. And that way it's still healthy and balanced, and you're doing like a lot of things that you want to do around campus and getting good grades as well. So,
and also too, that forces people to have respect for you. If there were times when Veotis and I were in college and he would call me and be like, "Hey Key, slide through, we chilling, we playing spades," and I'd be like, "No, I gotta study. I'm gonna catch y'all on the flip side. I know y'all gonna be out this weekend. I'm gonna catch y'all on Friday."
Right.
And they'd be like, "Nah, bruh, don't even text her, dog. She gonna hit you with the no. She gotta study. Leave her alone." So, you know, it just kind of helps your friends get to know you. Fifth tip that will really help you be successful in college is to go to study groups, go to study tables. There are a lot of organizations on campus, both like fraternities, sororities, business organizations, mentoring programs on campus, just other resources that are out there that you can go and you can study. I know that for me, that was a really big part of my success with certain classes, because I just knew that in certain subjects, it's like, I'm going to be bored. I need people to be around me that's going to help me spice it up, that's going to, you know, improve my note-taking, improve my attention in class. I had friends who would be like, "Look, bro, I know I'm going to pass this class. I'm not worried. I'm finna sit on the back and be on my phone." And I was just like, well, that's not me. I can't be on my phone. I need to sit in the front where the professor might call me out for sleeping or being off task if I'm sitting right in front of him. Like, you know, so just even creating those groups and going and being in an atmosphere where progress is happening.
right.
Is a big portion of being successful. There are a lot of people who I used to study with, and sometimes we would be able to study in person, and sometimes it was like, I can't study in person, but we would FaceTime and study. We would send notes back and forth to each other. I know that sometimes when you have online classes, the modules are set up, they're all the same questions. They may be in a different order, but even in that, we would finesse the system. Listen to me closely. Listen to me closely. Listen to me closely.
Listen to me closely.
If you are in a class that has an online portion, you should meet up with some people who you have that same class with. One person logs in and you do it as a collective.
Yeah, sometimes less is more, man. There's no need to reinvent the wheel for certain processes. People have been graduating for years or whatever. And I mean, I know that's probably going to lead me to the next point, but like, you can kind of go, you know, and see stuff and say, okay, well, I don't necessarily have to make this harder for myself for studying, you know, studying the same material, because somebody may have already mastered that material. So if I can study their notes and use their strategy,
Quizlet,
all I got to do is pass the class. Exactly. All you're doing is passing the class, retaining a good portion of the knowledge to get you to the next destination where you want to go, whether that's the next, you know, college or the next job or whatever else. That's all it's for, because I mean, to be honest with you, like a lot of people, the stuff you remember in college and the stuff you really take with you is never really the academics. It's really just the
being in the environment.
Right, being in the environment,
Where
learning how to
happening.
network and learning how, and I mean, really balancing those social skills to create the best outlet for you. So.
Yep. So make sure you hit those study groups. Make sure you hit those study tables that different orgs have. Make sure you're looking up all your online resources such as Quizlet, any online forums like KUWM. KUWM is where they review like teachers. So if you don't know, I don't know this professor, like get on KUWM and look them up. Students will be brutally honest about their reviews. They'll tell you, oh, if you want an easy 4-point, take this professor. Oh, this professor gonna be on some trash. Y'all exams gonna be hard. Don't take this person.
Right.
So
be strategic about the classes you're taking. So if it's not, I guess it kind of boils down to knowing yourself, but if you in a class or you in a college and you know you need however many credits to graduate, like for example, I went to Eli Burrow, right? It's hard. It's a business college. It's hard. I can't curse, but it's hard. It's hard as heck. You know what I mean? So the average person, or the average African American, may take 5-6 years to graduate from that college. The introductory class